should be the motto. Saving your marriage, one thrust at a time.
Perfect.
Why weren't we in marketing?
I don't know. We
would probably make society work.
We would have sold a lot of penis pills.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Wednesday Night Gentlemen Multimedia Empire official podcast. This is episode number 5. On this show, we will be talking about comic books, movies, TV shows, video games, and everyone's favorite, but not today, political discourse. I am your host, Tactic Angel, and with me is my murderous socialist friend, Midget Radio.
Hello.
Fantastic. What are you drinking this morning, Midget Radio?
Coffee, again. Once again.
Well, that's great.
Thank you. Just a little milk in it, that's all.
I have nothing.
All right, good for you.
Today we will be talking about 3 fun and entertaining things, or at least in my opinion. Today we'll be talking about the 3rd Wolverine movie, and by extension, probably several other Wolverine movies.
Probably, yeah.
Westworld, and Luke Cage. We've already talked a little bit about Luke Cage, so this will be a wrap-up of everything, and that's going to be our last thing, so we'll get to it when we get to it. First, we're going to talk about Wolverine.
Okay.
Wolverine is...
I'm ready. Go.
Okay, yeah. So Wolverine is, of course, the titular X-Men character. He is in a series of X-Universe films played by Hugh Jackman. Hugh is probably a little too tall and a little too handsome for this role.
Sure.
But otherwise, he's done a pretty good job in 9 X movies, many of which have been pretty dubious otherwise.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan. I like his Wolverine quite a bit, actually. The quality of each of the films he's been in certainly is improved, I guess, by his performances. He has nothing to do with the fact that some of them are god-awful.
Yeah, I think mostly the X universe problems are writing-based.
Yeah.
I think almost exclusively. I think there's some casting issues, but
yeah,
none of them, like, Halle Berry's not impressive.
No.
I don't know. There's a couple others, but I think it's mostly the writing just doesn't work.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
So, like I said, he's been in 9 movies. I guess it's technically like 8.5 because he was in like 1 2-second scene in First Class.
Oh, in First Class, yeah.
There have been 2 previous, quote, solo Wolverine movies, X-Men Origins Wolverine and The Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to give us your opinion on X-Men Origins, The Wolverine? Or any of the other things that I summarized?
I feel like, the opinions on X-Men Origins Wolverine are all pretty universally the same. It's a horrible movie. It's a horrible, terrible movie. I don't know anyone who actually thinks that movie is any good.
Is it the worst movie that has ever been made?
It's probably not that. But it's up there. It is up there. From the adamantium bullets to just a depressing rendition of Gambit. It's a horrible movie. The only decent thing about it is I kind of like Liv Schreiber's Sabretooth a lot. That's really it, though.
He did, and actually the Blob was fun. But
yeah,
I think actually that whole scene with the Blob was fun.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah.
But didn't they have Will.I.Am in that movie?
He was just miscellaneous teleporter.
Yeah. Boy. Is Cloak is a mutant, right?
Yeah, both Cloak and Dagger, I think.
I know, but if you were going to put a miscellaneous teleporter in, why wouldn't you just put cloaking?
I don't know. I don't know.
Anyway. The Wolverine I felt was... I mean, I agree with X-Men Origins. It was terrible. Yeah. And by the time you got through the credit scene, you've already seen the best part of the movie.
Yeah.
Because I kind of like the whole Sabretooth and Wolverine running around buddy.
Yeah. In every single war ever.
Yes. Yes. So that was fun. I mean, like, they ran a little too awkwardly close to each other.
They were always, arm in arm.
At least they weren't skipping. The Wolverine I felt was a better movie. I don't think it was a great movie. I felt like it was C+, average.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I like the Wolverine. I liked the second film quite a bit. I mean, it's got its problems. I'm such a huge X-Men fan, though, that like I feel like the most significant issues with the Wolverine are that the ending is just ridiculous, and that it's often just boring. Boredom in an X-Men movie, like the slow pacing, doesn't bother me at all. It's enough for me to just look at X-Men on the screen and be entertained. But the ending is a little bit, what the hell is going on? All in all, though, I mean, I gotta say, I like the movie quite a bit overall. It has a lot of elements in it that I appreciate. I mean, Wolverine in Japan, a lot of the fight scenes are great. That first fight scene at the wedding was awesome. The train, less so. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, overall, I like that movie quite a bit.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. By the time it gets to Silver Surfer, Iron Man, I'm pretty much out.
Yeah, that was a weird decision. I don't know.
I don't think, like, and correct me if I'm wrong, because sometimes I do zone out when you talk. But I'm pretty sure for a long time, Wolverine and the X-Men, which was about the school, was one of your favorite books.
I guess, kind of. I mean, I enjoyed it. The Jason Aaron wrote that entire series, and yeah, I mean, for the most part, I enjoyed it. Okay.
Because my understanding is that really what makes the X-Men worth, like, reading as a general property is the interpersonal relationships.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that's one of the things I love about it, and that it's largely a family. I have said that the perfect X-Men movie to me would basically be Dazed and Confused taking place at Xavier's campus. That's it. That's all I want to see is a bunch of high school aged mutants hanging out and drinking beer.
And then a sentinel rips off the roof and
that's fine. That doesn't even have to happen. I don't give a shit. I just want people to hang out on Xavier's campus, and that's all. That would probably be the best X-Men movie. That would be the best superhero movie in my opinion.
No, it's not. because that is Civil War, and you are wrong. Sometime we're gonna have to do a rundown of our, like, top 5 or top 10.
Yeah, I'd be down.
Compare notes, and I'll tell you that you're wrong, you son of a bitch.
No, I'm happy to have the exact same conversation with
you. So we learned that the third solo Wolverine movie will be called Logan.
Yeah, I guess just Logan. It's not like the Wolverine Logan or Wolverine 3: Logan. I guess it's just Logan.
Yeah. Well, I think they're going for something different. I know that this is set in the near future, and that someone leaked the first page of the script.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say much about it, but the only thing I loved reading about the first First page of the script is that if you're looking for another CG fuckfest, this isn't your movie.
Yeah.
And I checked that box. I'm interested to see it.
Yeah.
We also learned that Laura Kinney, perhaps better known as X-23,
yes,
will be making her first appearance in this movie.
Yeah.
Laura Kinney is currently known as the Wolverine because I guess the Wolverine is dead except for future Wolverine.
Old man Logan is still around, yeah.
And whatever stupid spin-off books that they can still justify existing.
Oh, yeah.
So we also know the actress who's going to be playing X-23, a girl by the name of Sienna Novikov.
Okay.
Do you know anything about this?
No, I don't know anything about that actress. The only thing I saw was that there was some confusion as to whether or not she was actually playing that role. I don't know whether that actually got knocked down. It's the internet. I have no idea. I just saw that that may have been listed on like IMDb and possibly could have been a mistake or something. I don't know though.
Okay. I kind of hope it's a mistake.
Who is she?
Nobody, basically.
Okay.
I guess she had two probably relatively minor roles, one in Bad Moms and another in Daddy's Home. I have seen neither of these films, but they sound like stupid comedies.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm almost positive Bad Moms is a stupid comedy.
Shoot.
And Daddy's Home just sounds like a stupid comedy too.
I'm looking for it right now. Yeah, I mean they're I don't know. She's young. From the images that I've seen, she's exceedingly young. I think when Laura was first introduced in the comics, she was young, but it was probably like 13 years old or so. This girl looks like she's, I don't know, 8, 9.
She is in fact 11 as best I can tell.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, it just seems a little too young. I just, cause you want to see, I want to see X-23. I don't want to see, innocent little girl who's afraid of her, claws and all of that kind of stuff. I want to see, almost drone-like, X-23 who was built to assassinate people, and is convinced and can make that convincing. So I guess, as long as she's convincing in that role, I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, I think it would be a little awkward to see an 11-year-old girl straight up murdering people.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm more comfortable with it if she's 2 years older. But yeah, I if I'm being honest, it does seem a little weird.
Yeah, especially if she does it in the numbers that I'm sure you're looking for.
Oh, please, yeah.
Like, you want people to have like written angry articles about the body count for these films.
That'd be amazing. Yeah.
There are 37 on-screen deaths.
There should be at least that many.
What will happen to the children? That's screwed up, too. You look at the Indiana Jones things. We watched Indiana Jones as a kid. There are dozens of people.
Oh, hell yeah.
They're driving tanks full of like 15 guys off of cliffs.
Oh, yeah.
We're not like crazier than the people who are growing up now.
No.
Anyway,
we're fine.
We're fine. Yeah, we're completely normal. So, yeah, I haven't seen this girl. Maybe she's gonna be great.
Maybe.
I think like I don't count on like a Haley Steinfeld level of performance.
No.
From True Grit. She's the girl in True Grit. she acts like she holds her own and more in that movie.
In that movie, she's amazing. She's really boring and stiff and annoying in Pitch Perfect 2, which I know you probably had no reason to ever see. But I did.
Why?
And why do you think? The difference in those two performances is actually kind of stunning. I was surprised it was even the same person because she is phenomenal in True Grit.
Maybe it's the director. Maybe the director did it.
Maybe. That's possible.
Maybe every 15-minute scene that she's in actually took 4 hours to shoot.
Possibly.
Everybody go watch The Hunter. It's a great film.
Great stuff.
Do you have any other miscellaneous Wolverine type opinions?
I just some of the plot stuff. I mean, it sounds like it's gonna be Donald Pierce is gonna be in this, who is not exactly a very famous X-Men villain. He was
Isn't he the son of the guy who made Wolverine? Kind of.
I don't know that he's the son. Because he starts out as a member of the Hellfire Club, and it turns out he's
I'm thinking they named somebody else.
Okay.
Who I think is the son. Donald Pierce is. Yeah.
Okay.
He's the Hellfire Club guy.
Yeah, he's really just a cyborg. I mean, the only in the comics anyway, the only real famous, I guess, scene that he ever had was he was a cyborg leading a bunch of other cyborgs called the Reavers and harassing the X-Men during the Outback years.
Chilling out in Australia.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Awesome, I guess. I mean, I don't have a whole lot of opinions about that, but I hope it's cool. I really want this movie to be good, really badly.
You need it.
Yeah. Did you ever watch Apocalypse?
I haven't seen it yet because I have not heard lots of good things, and I don't want to spend a lot of money to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know why I think $5 is a lot of money, but
I will stand by the fact that movie was reviewed unreasonably harshly. And I think a lot of it has to do with how just ridiculously good Civil War was. And then 2 to 3 weeks later, you have X-Men Apocalypse, and it's nowhere near Civil War levels, which, I mean, to be honest, almost none of the comic book movies that we've seen, aside from practically Avengers, reach the heights of Civil War. But when you look at Apocalypse and you stand it up next to so many of the other just completely mediocre to decent comic book movies, the reviews are out of whack. They're completely out of whack. It's not a good movie. I will never argue that, but it is certainly not as bad as it has been made out to be.
Okay. So you're saying this is more 3 stars on the Netflix scale rather than 2 stars.
Yeah, I'd say that. Yeah. I think I was looking at like Rotten Tomatoes, and Batman The Dark Knight Rises has like a fucking like 80-something% rating. And X-Men Apocalypse has a 50%. That's insane. That is insane to me. That is psychotic to me.
Well, yeah.
But what are you gonna do?
The Dark Knight Rises was not a good film.
It was a bad movie.
The first two films were fantastic. I think it was just riding the hype train there. I think we were
too.
I don't know.
I think so too, and I would argue that a lot of Marvel movies do the exact same thing, but
that'll be a conversation for another time. But speaking of cyborgs, we're also going to be talking about Westworld.
Man, what a transition.
Yeah, I mean, like, so good. Westworld is a movie, a TV show, and a book by the same name. It was developed by the late Michael Crichton, first, I believe, as a script for the 1973 movie starring Yul Brynner, James Brolin, and Richard Benjamin. The book, I think, was also released concurrent to the release of that movie. Now, you have seen the 1973 movie.
Yeah.
Because I asked you to watch it.
Yeah, which Crichton also directed, interestingly.
He did.
Yeah.
What did you think of the original Westworld movie?
It's fine. It's interesting to see the difference between the movie and the show. I would say the movie is largely just a thriller. I mean, it's a pretty straightforward one.
Yeah.
There's a carnival and it goes bad, and the end.
So it's weird to watch this knowing that Michael Crichton did it.
Yeah.
Because as I'm watching this, it feels a lot like The Terminator meets Jurassic Park meets like 1973 science fiction budget and production value.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the premise of this is theme park with robots go bad, is, when you boil it right down, basically the same premise as Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Throw in a little corporate espionage, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have like a soft spot for this movie. And I think it's just because Yul Brynner's in it.
Yeah.
And
with all like 4 lines of dialogue, he's still great.
Well, they just have him walking around, and he's dressed exactly as he was in The Magnificent Seven. And there's just a part of me that just loves it.
Yeah.
And it's not rational. I wouldn't recommend people go out and watch this movie. I don't think most people are going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
It is interesting to watch it, though, and then to watch the new Westworld. Now, there are some other Westworld things. There's Future World, there's Beyond Westworld, and there might be another thing. We're not going to talk about those because neither of us have seen them.
Yeah.
And from what I hear, they're nothing special. They are making a new TV show on HBO. The series has the same name and stars just a slew of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
But probably most notably Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah.
Like you said, this, and let's try to talk about this without like getting too deep into spoilers.
Okay.
I don't think that we know enough about what's going on big picture yet to even really spoil it if we wanted to.
Yeah.
Because I think they ordered 12 or 13 shows, and we're through 2, and there are things definitely happening, but there is a lot more unknown than known at this point.
Yeah.
But like you had said, this really does invert the premise of the original movie, because we've got the original movie takes place and you follow 2 of the guests, basically. Mm-hmm. And the guests are the people who are visiting the amusement park, and the hosts are the robots.
Yeah.
So that's how the original goes. This time, we're watching everything through the eyes of the people who are actually running the show. And for the most part, we're seeing it through the eyes of the robots themselves.
Yeah.
Go ahead and give me your first impressions.
I don't have any real solid opinions about the show yet. It's fine for what it is. I guess the thing I'm kind of struggling with right now is whom to really care about. I don't feel like I've seen any characters so far that kind of interest me. I mean, some of the stuff with from the perspective of the robots is moderately interesting. Anthony Hopkins is Anthony Hopkins, so he's interesting in that respect. And And I love Ed Harris a lot. I don't know about his character so much in this show so far, but I guess that's kind of where I'm at with this show. I feel a little bit out to sea. I'm not sure that at this point I'm all that invested in any particular individual, as the show is almost more focused on the concept rather than any individual character at this point, which is only so interesting to me.
Okay. Are you sure it's not because James Marsden is in this?
It's not. He's not the problem.
James Marsden is
fine.
Famously the man who played Scott Summers' Cyclops to perfection.
You know,
in the X-Men movies.
God, it is. He is a frustrating individual to me. I understand that it's really not his fault. I mean, it's definitely more on the script than anything else, but Jesus Christ, of all the people in the world to cast as Scott Summers, James Marsden wouldn't be anywhere on that damn list for me. I like Ty Sheridan. If you do see Apocalypse, I actually like Ty Sheridan quite a bit. As Apocalypse made a lot of good casting corrections, I will say.
Okay. Did you feel... I kind of felt this way for like the first scene or two of Anthony Hopkins' performance. Did you feel like he was phoning it in a little bit?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. I don't know how much he really has to work with at this point. And I don't know, maybe he'll become more interesting as the series carries on. But yeah, I don't know. Nothing special so far from him.
The thing is, like, and as I ask that question and as I think it and say it, like, I still love watching him do his thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he can phone it in and get away with it. So, yeah, absolutely.
Well, I thought it was very interesting, like, watching Anthony Hopkins and Jeffrey Wright. Jeffrey Wright is probably most notable for people in our demographic is playing Felix Reiter in Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace.
Yeah.
He's bearded CIA guy.
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah, I
lot.
do too.
I like him in this. I like that when they interact with the robots, that they are, and I am saying that incorrectly intentionally.
Yes.
It feels kind of like there's a little bit of computer science in there, but it's much more like psychologist.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think it's interesting to watch the direction they're going, because I think that we as like humanity are being portrayed as the villains in this.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
We go to this park to basically be psychopaths and hedonists.
Yeah.
And
so I do have something to say about that. Like,
go for it.
I mean, that is one of the things that makes the show, I guess, interesting, but at the same time, it feels a little one-dimensional. And it raises all of these... I gotta say, one of the biggest problems I'm having with this show is just the practical application of this theme park. Because you keep thinking, like, so all of the people that come visit this place are violent, murderous lunatics. It seems like...
I don't think all of them, because, like, I don't even remember his name. What's the guy who's been there before?
The guy, oh, you mean Ed Harris or?
No. Well, Ed Harris's character
is crazy.
He has gone off the deep end,
yeah.
I think. But we kind of start following two of the guests, and this feels kind of like a throwback to the original. And one of them has been there before, and he is crazy.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
He is. Well, I mean, like, you watch it and you're like, yes, robots that look like humans, of course you're going to have sex with them.
Yeah, well, of course, yeah.
That is when society breaks down.
That's one of the things, though. You don't need a Western theme park for that. Like,
no, you don't. You don't. But I guess, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
It's just weird.
Yeah, and his buddy
seems
like
a McPoyle brother, actually, from Always Sunny.
Yeah. He is much more well-grounded.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I would say he feels a lot of empathy for the machines, but I think he views them as something to treat with more respect than his buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And I think he's probably going to stick around for a while as kind of a major player, but I could be wrong.
I mean, I would assume, because, I mean, at this point, he's one of the only human characters, at least in the park itself, that's not a violent psychopath. So, I mean, he's unique in that respect. You would imagine they would not murder him off right away, but who knows?
Well, I think Anthony Hopkins' story is just starting off with him, like, wandering the park and having comparatively innocent conversations with his creations.
Yeah.
And then also rejecting the new storyline that's just all about blood and guts. And I think that's going to be interesting.
I think so too. I think that's at least an attempt to sort of explore a new avenue, because there is a part of me that, and this goes back to just sort of just the practical application of a park like this, because it kind of seems like they're approaching it from the perspective of, well, let's imagine that you could play Grand Theft Auto for real. And that everybody, and so everybody who visits,
I think you mean Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, I mean, basically the same thing. But Grand Theft Auto, in the sense that anyone who plays that game immediately starts stealing cars and shooting at police and killing everybody in their wake. So I get it from that perspective. But then there's the part of me that's like, so that, and I was thinking about this during the movie too. So they just threw this guy through the window. What's the schedule for when they have to repair that window and reset everything? I mean, it just seems like there's a lot of stuff. A lot of stupid crap I'm having a hard time getting my head around. And the one thing that drives me actually kind of crazy, and I don't know if they've actually explained it. I don't think they have, but I don't understand how the bullets work.
I think they're implied to have. They're somehow able to sense when they're shooting a human and they self-detonate or something like that. I guess.
Yeah.
But it seemed like, whatever.
I don't get that.
I think you just gotta go with it.
I know, but they explained it in the movie. I like that it has a sensor, and if it senses heat, body heat, it just won't pull. You can't pull the trigger. That's cool. But this is like, you can still shoot at humans. And then I think, like, if you and I and certain other people we knew went to Westworld, we would waste all of our bullets on each other. Because it would fuck up the clothing and it would be annoying.
I think, or no, we'd probably just keep shooting the horse's head that the other person was riding.
All the time. And then they would have to repair that horse and reset it, I guess, while we're asleep. It's just... I guess it surprises me that the entire town is not burned to the ground every night, given the kind of people who are playing around in this park.
Okay, I think there's more going on, and I like that this show kind of takes its time. Like, it really takes its time.
It does.
Because I think we saw, like, one of the technicians leaned in and kissed Angela Serafian.
Yeah.
Who I actually have always liked.
I like her in this show so far.
She was in The Good Guys. I loved her character in The Good Guys. I loved that whole show. But it got canned real quick.
Yeah.
So, I mean, clearly like the technicians, some of them have feelings for the robots.
Yeah.
And you can, like, if you're an artist or a musician or something and you create anything, there's probably going to be some emotional attachment to it.
Yeah.
So there's probably part of you that looks at what all these people are doing to your creation, and it probably isn't a good feeling.
Yeah.
And I think Jeffrey Wright's character does something fairly similar with Evan Rachel Wood.
Yeah.
Not intimate, but you can sense that there's like a connection, and he may not be playing completely above board. I think it's interesting.
Yeah. We're
gonna do the 1 to 5 scale again.
All right.
First
I gotta say,
episodes,
so the other just afterthought that I have about the show, I like all the attention around gestures and gesture animation and stuff like that. Just those kind of little touches, I think are really, really interesting, really nice to kind of sell that these are creations, that these are in a lot of ways artistic creations. I think is cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually have that scene where the script writer comes and sees the person's noble savage, and
yeah. Yeah.
He basically critiques it like a work of art, though in the crudest manner possible.
Yeah.
So let's give our first impressions, 1 to 5, and would you recommend people watch this?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'd recommend people watch it at this point. I mean, 2 episodes in, I'm at a 3. But I think but I mean, for me, really, it's just about character. There's no one who really stands out to me yet that I really care about. I think, but there's certainly potential, I think, for a number of them to do that. So when that happens, I'm sure I'll go quite a bit higher.
Okay. So far, the first 2 episodes, I basically just love what I've seen.
Cool. All right.
The production quality of this show is great. There are so many actors and actresses in this that I like and that I feel do a pretty good job, even though I don't understand yet really what their motivations are or what they're doing. I would probably give it a 4, and I'm probably going to lean higher too. And you're going to say something like, of course, it's got robots in it.
Well, that is one of the things.
It is one of the things. I mean,
God, as soon as a spaceship shows up, it's 6 stars. It's 7.
How badass would that be? No, actually, I don't want that to happen. I like the plotting nature of the plot.
Yeah.
I'm super interested to see where it goes next.
Yeah. I'm curious too. And I'm back and forth on, I actually really like that we haven't seen much of the world like outside of Westworld, that I don't really have much of an understanding as to what the rest of the country looks like, like what the real world looks like. So there's part of me that I kind of like that, but then there's also part of me that's like, well, Jesus, if they have all these robots, then I guess manufacturing's out the door. I mean, how many jobs have just been completely wiped off the earth, and what does anybody do for a living now?
Yeah.
But, I don't know.
Yeah, and even like the people who are greeting the guests as they show up, they're robots too.
So every Walmart greeter is a robot. Like, I mean, everybody who mans a counter at McDonald's, all this stuff is gone, I'm sure. But
I wonder if they get like old robots that are about to be decommissioned to be the Walmart greeters.
Maybe. You would think they keep that tradition alive.
Hello, welcome to Walmart.
That'd be great.
I hope you are having an adequate day. Oh man, I hope so. Actually, that character is played by Lalula, whatever her name is. She's Elon Musk's estranged wife.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. Interesting. Elon Musk, the man who is inventing new ways for you to die.
Yep. That's a good one, though. It's a good one.
I mean, I guess dying on Mars would be relatively novel.
It'd be awesome. I always thought, like if I was super rich, when I die, I would like to have my body just launched at Mars, just so that I could say that I was the first man on Mars, even though I would be dead and be unable to say it. At least I would be the first human body on Mars.
I think if you had everything like lined up and contractually, ready to go upon your death, that you would start bragging about it even before
That's
you die.
true. I totally would. I definitely would.
You'd start bragging about it next episode if you could.
Easily.
If you won the lottery.
Easily.
Like Powerball style. I guess you'd probably have to do it like 2 or 3 times because it's like billions of dollars. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe if you took all that and invested it in gold.
But probably. That's probably what I need to do. I need to pay attention.
G. Gordon Liddy said it.
He knows what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So let's get back on track. We still have one more show to talk about.
Yeah.
Luke Cage.
Luke Cage.
We have previously talked about Luke Cage on this channel, but for those of you who don't know, Luke Cage is the 3rd Marvel TV show in Netflix contract. That also includes the completely amazing Daredevil TV show, Jessica Jones, which is pretty average, and the upcoming Iron Fist, which comes out, as I mentioned in Week in Review, on March 17th, 2017.
Oh, yeah. Wolverine's that month, too, I believe. Or Logan.
Ooh, we're going to be busy.
Yeah,
we're going to be busy forever.
We are.
Making a lot of
There's
this
no
stuff.
end. There's no bubble. This is just part of the industry now. This is just what movie making and TV show making is.
Yeah. You can hope. You can hope.
I do.
I guess. Let me briefly get your opinion. You saw the stuff about Luke or Iron Fist, right?
Yeah, I saw the trailer. Yeah.
He's your favorite Iron Fist, right?
No. No, I gotta say though, I do like the thing that's always sort of annoyed me a little bit about Danny Rand is that he's another I'm a rich white guy with superpowers. I mean, he's another Tony Stark, he's another Bruce Wayne. There's really not that much that's different about him, and he's a pretty boy. I mean, he's a rich pretty playboy. I like at least that the Iron Fist that we've got in the Netflix trailer is kind of a scruffy looking dude. He kind of looks homeless. That works for me. So I appreciate that much of a change, at least. We don't have clean cut Tony Stark doing kung fu. We have shaggy homeless guy instead. That's great.
Okay. Okay. I just wanted to give you that platform to vent a little bit. I don't think we haven't seen really enough to say much of anything, but
no.
Based on what they've been doing with the Marvel properties, I'm going to give a little bit of a rundown for what we talked about. We talked about the first 4 episodes on our last official podcast. I had given it 3.5 stars. You had given it 4.5. And so Luke Cage follows a character by the same name. He has a few powers, which seem to be invulnerability, or more specifically, bulletproofness.
Yeah.
And being pretty damn strong. Mm-hmm. So, pretty miscellaneous, but a lot of that, or a lot of the magic lies in execution there.
Oh yeah.
Let's say you gave it 4.5. We're gonna give our review in terms of stars up front, and then we'll go into the deeper discussion, which will probably contain a ton of spoilers.
Yeah, big time spoilers. Yeah, big time. Yeah.
You gave it 4.5. You've watched the remaining 9 episodes.
I have.
Where do you go from there?
I may shave that half a star. And I may land at 4 stars. Only because it gets a little less, the storytelling and the plotting gets a little less tight toward the end of the show. That's really the only issue that I have with it, and I'm still kind of comparing it to Daredevil seasons 1 and 2, where I feel like there was really almost no dead time in either of those shows. In Cage, I think as the show progressed and the closer we got to the ending, it just, I don't know. It felt a little loose, and it started to take its time to resolve things in some kind of odd and bizarre ways. Is my very general review.
Okay. I'd given it 3.5. I'm kind of torn because I feel like it earned 3.5.
Yeah.
If I was really generous, I might give it 4. I don't think that I'm gonna move the needle here. I think I got it the first time.
Okay. I can see that.
I think it's definitely better than Jessica Jones.
Yes. Yeah.
It is definitely worse than Daredevil.
Yeah.
It's still worth watching. I think it's better than all the other things you can watch on like network television. So
oh hell yeah. Yeah.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and
yes.
and Arrow and
yeah.
The Flash and all that garbage.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna put up the spoiler alert tag. There it is.
Spoiler alert.
If you don't want anything ruined, stop watching. Join us on the next show where I have no idea what we're going to be talking about. So you had mentioned that it kind of slows down. Yeah. I assume that you mean after he got shot, and we spend a lot of time with the night nurse.
Yeah. That's generally what it is, and it feels the reason it feels loose to me is because it feels intentional, and it's the same thing. It's kind of the same trouble that Jessica Jones ran into, but Cage dealt with it a lot more effectively. You've got Diamondback, who's great. I mean, the one thing about this show that this show does just so much better than Jessica Jones, and even to some degree with in certain cases, I guess with Daredevil.
Bullshit.
I'm sticking to that argument. I really like and the thing that I would love to see happen in Westworld. I like so many of the characters in Cage. They are instantly interesting to me, and Diamondback is one of them. Just his performance, that actor's performance alone, is just fantastic. He has such a strong screen presence that he's just easy to watch. But so we've got where he finally confronts Cage, and we get the just ridiculous soap opera plot twist that I'm your long lost brother, and he shoots Cage. And Cage ends up in the dump truck, and you think, like, if it seems like Diamondback had so many opportunities to kill Luke Cage, and he didn't do it, couldn't do it, and I couldn't feel I couldn't really see like that it's he's not sure it's his brother, and he's not sure whether he really wants to kill him yet. He's just savoring this, but part of me feels like that's kind of bullshit, and they have 5 to 6 more episodes to try to get out of this show before they can end it. So I don't know. Yeah. That's the part that feels kind of loose to me, where it feels like there's some intentional padding going on in the plot.
Yeah, and the same thing kind of happened with Jessica Jones, that it really should have been probably 10 episodes.
Yeah.
Instead of 13.
Yeah.
Jessica Jones should have been 8.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
it probably just to piggyback on that point. One of the most frustrating things about Jessica Jones is at the end of that show when I think they confront Kilgrave again for like the 12th time. They confront Kilgrave, and Patsy Walker walks up to him with those headphones blaring loud music. And it's episode 13, and you're like, why did it fucking take 13 fucking episodes of this to figure out that if you just put on some headphones and can't hear what this motherfucker has to say, you could take his ass out? That is so frustrating to me. Like, it's just, that's the kind of just lazy plotting that the answer's right there. A pair of fucking headphones. You could have knocked this dude out for $60 and it would have been over.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
It's like watching Jeffrey Combs fire Iceman. What's your weakness? Room temperature? Yeah. See, I have to kind of disagree, and this is going back a little bit on what you were talking about with Diamondback, because so they kill Cottonmouth, and
Yeah.
I wasn't as in love with Cottonmouth as you were, but I definitely felt like I got Cottonmouth. I kind of liked where he was going. I kind of enjoyed like his backstory, and as soon as you get it, he dies.
Yeah. Yeah.
And-
I was upset about that. Yeah.
And when he dies, and this is partially probably the reason why I feel like the show started to decline a little bit, is when he dies, the music dies. It is not as good.
I'm gonna disagree with that a little bit. I don't.
Fine.
Yeah.
There were more acts. I don't love a lot of the modern music that they play.
You still got the Delphonics. I mean, that's post. That's post Cottonmouth death.
Yeah, I guess it is. But like, in terms of like packing in,
Yeah, the live
soundtrack,
performances. Yeah, absolutely taper off. Yeah.
we don't get as much of it,
Yeah.
and I feel like we start getting more modern stuff. Probably because most of the stuff that I really liked was being played in the club.
Yeah.
And the club becomes a clusterfuck. I don't understand how people get away with that.
Yeah.
And then whatever. We're on the street more, so when we're on the street more, we get more modern hip hop and stuff like that, and it just doesn't do that much for me.
I can see that.
I also didn't really love Cottonmouth in terms of an actual villain. Like, I think he started off better, but by the end of it, he just started to get into this like weird psycho thing, and then he gets the suit, and it's Hammer Tech, and there's part of me that goes, oh, Hammer Tech.
And I'm sorry, you mean Diamondback, not Cottonmouth.
Did I say?
Yeah,
Okay,
I think
sorry.
No problem.
Cottonmouth's dead. Diamondback gets the suit. At this point, like you said, he's had several opportunities to legitimately kill. And it seems like he's trying.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Consistently trying.
Yeah.
But it's like, don't just shoot him once. Shoot him a whole bunch of times. Yeah, that always works better than once.
Yeah. The head. That's what you want. Like, especially
get an adamantine bullet and shoot him in the head.
Then he'll get amnesia for God knows what reason.
But by the end of it, he shows up in this suit, and part of it's that the suit just looks silly.
It does, and I'm back and forth on that because I do kind of look at it. I like that it looks kind of comic book stupid, but at the same time, it's a little difficult to take him seriously. So yeah,
And you're like, by what mechanism does this suit even work?
Yeah,
because it kind of just looks like a windbreaker and some gloves and this like laser tag helmet.
Yeah. I mean, you get like, sure, okay, maybe it accelerates, punches and kicks. I'm not sure how it defends against them, but whatever.
Hammer tech.
Yeah.
It's hammer tech. That's a reference to Iron Man.
It is.
Specifically Iron Man 2.
It is.
Which
a movie that is worse than X-Men Apocalypse. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Jury's out on that, but I have a feeling that it's it's probably true. I wasn't really into Diamondback as much as Cottonmouth, and I kind of feel like, did they call her Black Mariah?
Yeah.
The whole time?
Yeah, not the whole time, but she's definitely referred to as that at least one. I know Cottonmouth says that to her face at least one time.
Yeah. I feel like she steps in to run the club. She is not Cottonmouth.
No.
She is not making decisions at all. And then when she does, it doesn't feel like she's making good decisions or even like reasonably well thought out decisions. And
yeah,
I don't. And then she survives on through the plot, and I'm just thinking, man, I don't want to see this character more.
Okay. I'm a little different on that. I actually do like Mariah in the show. I agree though that she doesn't, I think, really take that sort of mantle of leadership and command that Cottonmouth had, and it's largely because so many of her actions are being directed by Diamondback. It's mostly how do I appease Diamondback and not go to jail, and deal with Cage, and so yeah, I don't know. It's mostly like she's doing these things out of a sense of survival, more than does she have any kind of real vision for herself like Cottonmouth had. But I think it's I don't know. I sort of like that it's there, and I like the element that I like the idea that she's always had this in her, a kind of ruthless violence in the pursuit of leadership, that's in her and is only I guess now starting to wake up.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, she's a politician.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
I think a lot of those people have a pretty good handle on that.
Yeah.
What did you think about Shades?
I really like Shades. I really like Shades. I don't like that there's a sort of weird relationship there between him and Mariah. I don't know what it is about him. It might just be the sort of soft spokenness. I love him though. I love that character.
I don't know if I'd say love. I liked him. I felt like he was a much more competent villain.
Oh yeah.
After Cottonmouth's death.
Yeah.
And it kind of got in the weeds there because they spent a lot of time trying to kill him, and he's like redeeming himself in the background, or at least saving himself, I should say, not redeeming.
Yeah.
I don't know. I liked him. I would like to see more of him.
Yeah.
And I guess I'll have to take Mariah along with that, but okay. I think that kind of rounds out the villains.
Yeah.
They killed basically all the other. They killed Domingo, right?
Oh, did he die? No, I think Cage. No, yeah, he does die. Cage gets him out of that building, and then he dies on the street. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's
That's
gone.
sad.
I thought he was.
I liked him a lot.
he didn't have a lot of screen time, but when he did, he had a decent presence.
Absolutely.
And I'm a little sad that he's gone. They had some silly like Joker-like meeting, and he executes somebody, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably why I think he was devolving into kind of a madman, because the writing wasn't tight, and he's doing these crazy things, and he's basically, a dictator.
Yeah.
And he's gonna be a dictator, but like the dictators that you like are even like watching Gotham. when they have Falcone in it.
Yeah.
Or Falcone, I guess. I like him a lot. I actually like him more than almost any character in that show. Probably because he doesn't have a lot of competition.
Yeah.
But, like, he has that sort of soft-spoken, my actions speak louder than my words.
Yeah.
And he bides his time, and then when he strikes, it's ruthless.
He has a vision, and he thinks ahead. Basically, yeah. And that makes a big difference.
And I didn't get a lot from the other characters.
No, I mean Diamondback is basically just a lunatic. And it's a little. I mean I agree. I think with some of what you're saying. I mean he is a little bit one-dimensional. I mean the thing that defines his character is that he was the unloved brother. Essentially, and that's really it. I mean, that's really all there is to him.
Christmas presents.
Yeah, that's all there is to him as far as a character. This is one of those things where this is I feel like where you see the skill of really great actors. I love that. I love his performance. I just love it. I don't know what it is about it. It's completely impossible to define. Because it's definitely less in the writing than it is in the actual performance itself.
Okay, so we talked a little bit about the music. I think it trails off a little. You don't?
Yeah.
What did you think? What did you think about the action? Because we were both a little low on the action.
Yeah. And not to say that it's bad. It's, I just feel like there could have been more to it. I don't know. I feel like it may have picked up a little bit as the series went on. But nothing. I mean, I'm reflecting on it now, and nothing in particular is jumping out at me.
Yeah, I think it remained relatively steady and mostly. It's not that it's bad. It's just a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
It's like it's when you see a thing and you're like, you could make gold out of this, and they don't.
They make silver. I think and it's
particularly the last punching match.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's got to be a better way to shoot that and choreograph that.
Yeah.
And that whole scene felt just odd with like. Everyone's watching. The cops are watching. The neighborhood's watching. And it's just two guys just beating the tar out of each other.
So you would have, so for that scene in particular, they both come from a background in boxing. And you would have expected to see a little bit more of that than you do. And this is a little bit off of the fight scenes, but this is the other reason that I'm kind of shaving a star off is that it's hard to. People seem to kind of shift back and forth on Cage all the time, and it gets a little annoying. Like when the cops have this fight surrounded, and they can see that here is another man who seems to exhibit the same strength and practical invulnerability that Cage does. And he's probably the guy who killed that police officer. So why are the cops like, you know what, we're going to take down Cage the first chance that we get. If we're just going to take his ass right down as he's... It's like, what else do you need to see that he's probably not the cop killer? That it's probably this guy he's fighting right in front of your fucking face. It just seems a little cheap that like, oh, well, of course the police would be like that. Of course the police would be like... Yeah, fuck Cage. We don't give a shit that he's clearly the innocent party here. We're gonna take his ass down anyway.
Okay, that kind of leans into the other thing that I think is important to talk about. What did you think of the social commentary? Or what social commentary did you pick up on?
Well, okay.
How did that leave you feeling?
Here's my... I actually think that the bullet-riddled hoodie is like the best superhero costume in the world. I wish that there was no social context around it though, because I think it's such a good it's such a cool little touch that this guy Cage, who is a street level superhero who doesn't have a costume, would end up basically with he likes to wear hoodies and he gets shot a lot, and that's just generally how he looks. And to turn that into almost a kind of costume in its own right is such a good idea. Man, do I wish that I could totally and entirely divorce the social, I guess, political context of it.
Yeah. And it is frustrating to watch that, because on the one hand, like, if you want to like lay low, you don't show your face.
Yeah.
And you have like two options to do that.
Yeah.
You can wear a baseball cap.
Yeah.
Really low, or you can wear a hoodie.
Yeah.
And it's the whole Trayvon Martin thing. And I don't know, like, what are the alternatives? Like, he just doesn't go outside.
Right.
He wears a baseball cap, or he wears a hoodie.
Right.
And I don't like that we necessarily have to say, well, that's definitely a reference.
Yeah.
I think that might be more our society and the crazy places that we are going.
Yeah, I think so too. So I just prefer to ignore it. I think it's just a brilliant touch. And it makes it stands out even more just in the context of there being more superhero movies where Captain America will wear a bright blue and red costume, and Iron Man will be a red and yellow fucking iron suit. Daredevil is a red devil, and Luke Cage walks around in a bullet riddled hoodie. That's awesome. I just love that.
You had in Civil War when Captain America's laying low, he's walking around with Falcon, and they're both wearing
That's true. They have
baseball caps.
That's true.
Like, by the way, if you're walking around in Europe with a baseball cap on, you are almost certainly saying, I am an American.
Yep.
That actually looks significantly out of place.
I guess they should have been wearing, like, I don't know, beanies or something. I have no idea. You would wear in Europe to hide your face.
A beret.
Yeah, maybe a beret.
A really baggy beret.
Wear it real low on the forehead.
Try to make the extra flop across your face. We did hear the words Black Lives Matter one time.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
And it was actually in the form of a question. And there was part of me that was watching this whole thing, and like, some people are going to say they embraced that. And like, to me, I think they said, like, if Black Lives Matter, then something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like really in your face.
Yeah. And that's probably something
like
that we should, I think, recognize about the writing of the show, is that what social commentary there was, I mean, it was about as subtle, it was about as well done, I think, as you could do. It felt natural within the context of the show. It did not feel overtly preachy.
Yeah. Well, and I think there's, like, looking back on this show in 5 years, who knows what that whole movement's going to look like.
Yeah.
Because you already have some pretty messed up stuff happening in that name.
Yeah.
And I was always thinking, like, is this cowardly that they don't, like, do more with it? But I know that I would be annoyed.
Oh, me too.
If it was, like, really in my face.
Me too.
Because I don't need to be told that lives matter.
Yeah.
I understand that on a fundamental basis.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the thing that drove me a little bit insane about The Winter Soldier. Where it's like, is this a movie about Captain America, or is this a movie about fucking Edward Snowden? The ending of that movie drives me goddamn up the wall because of that, and it feels like it's completely in your face. Secrets are bad. Secrets are so bad. We got to put all the secrets on the internet. That's the heroic thing to do. That's insane and ridiculous to me.
Julian Assange, superhero.
Come on. That Julian Assange is no goddamn Captain America.
No, he's a little too pasty.
A little bit. I don't think he could throw that shield very far. So,
I think they also said one reference in. I think they may have mentioned Trayvon in Method Man's.
Yeah, that was a bizarre. That was actually the only thing that kind of took me out of the show a little bit. Is as soon as Method Man shows up and we spend some time with Method Man, like, okay. I mean, it just felt a little gratuitous, I guess.
I actually didn't think that was a bad scene.
Really?
Because I think it was supposed to be kind of like you have the 4 or 5 people who are talking on the radio, kind of like you and I are doing now.
Yeah.
And you're kind of getting the barometer of the street without like having some weird scene where Luke Cage is like walking through a park and then you see like 2 or 3 old people talking about basketball and then they're like Luke Cage and it's like that guy's an asshole and then somebody else is like no, I think he's just trying to help.
Yeah.
I think that was a little bit better. You got a musical performance. I didn't like it, but
it's,
I accept it in the context that it was in. I think that was like the only other thing that really stood out to me in terms of going down that path.
Yeah.
That's most of the questions I had that I wanted to get out there. Did you have any other questions or
I mean, I don't.
Final thoughts?
Yeah, I don't really think so. I really enjoyed the show overall. I'm pretty comfortable with it at 4 stars, and I'm definitely looking forward to there being a season 2. And I love Rosario Dawson. That's my final thought. I love Rosario Dawson.
As you were going through that was the one thing that I was going to say. I actually kind of like that the night nurse got more time in this.
Yeah.
And I think part of that's like a setup to the Defenders, because I think she's probably going to have some role in bringing them all together.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not 100% on like the romance between
me either,
the 2 of them, but then at the same time they didn't really get a lot of time to go into that because honestly they wasted some time doing other things.
Yeah.
But I liked it. I liked her scene in the mad scientist's basement.
Yeah, that was kind of fun, and I like that aspect of the show. I like that she's kind of becoming the expert on how to administer medical care to superheroes. That's kind of great, actually.
It is. So yeah, hopefully we'll see more of her. I know that she had sent out a tweet saying that she's really looking forward to doing Jessica Jones season 2, which I had also kind of hit on.
Yeah.
There's some theories that has been kind of delayed. As long as they do it right.
I know.
Take as much time as you want.
It shouldn't be that difficult.
As long as you do it right.
But
all right. Well, I think we will probably wrap it up there. This has been episode 5 of Wednesday Night Gentlemen, the Multimedia Empire official podcast. Thank you everyone for watching who got to this point. So I guess anyone who didn't mind spoilers, feel free to give us a like or a subscribe to our channel if you think we've done a good job and you like listening to people banter about nonsense.
We're great at it.
So we will see you on episode 6 of Wednesday Night Gentlemen.